What up YouTube, it's your boy Anime Specialist. So it was a good episode, but I just want to say that I rewatched the opening multiple times and it's very damn good, man. It's a really good opening. After watching it and listening to it multiple times, it was a really good opening, man. So I really liked it. So yeah, it was a good episode. I've been thinking about last week's episode all week, and I've been thinking about today's episode all week because I had a lot of questions, and during the week I was just thinking about scenarios, about what the hell happened and everything, and a lot of my questions have been answered. So I'm gonna talk about all that in this week's review. Anyway, we know what happened in the last two episodes. 2 episodes ago, Lich aka Patry was able to collect all the magic stones to revive the elves, and then in last week's episode we saw the flashback about everything that happened with the elves, how they were killed. We still don't know who killed them because they think that the humans did it, but we're still not sure. They think that the Clover Kingdom did it, but I don't think it was them, you know. So that's one of my questions right now. Who really killed them, you know? But at the beginning of this episode, there was some members of the Eye of the Midnight Sun that was dying just like that for a reason that we don't know so far. It seems like maybe their magic was taken away from them. All their mana was taken away from them, maybe to replenish the real Lich, or maybe it was their souls. I don't really know right now. So that's one of my questions for the show right now. But we saw the real Lich in this week's episode 2. Like I said, I think he's the real Lich. I think this is his body, and for a reason I don't know why he has a body. They were killed. I don't know. Maybe Patry preserved his real body, and that's why when all the elves were revived, he returned to his real body. Maybe that's why. But yeah, man, like I said, I think he's replenishing all of his mana from taking it from other humans that are part of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. Also, some of y'all corrected me about what magic was Lich and Patry using. So y'all said that Lich was using sword magic and Patry was using light magic. So there's a difference between them. So thank y'all for correcting me about that because I was really confused. So at first I thought that it was the same kind of magic, but it isn't. So thank y'all for that. But the thing that is interesting is that the guy that was friends with the elves, the bride's brother, was also using light magic. So that's kind of interesting. But anyway, man, there's a lot that happened in this week's episode. There's a lot of my questions that were answered, especially on the elves side. And the thing that was answered for me was the elves in the human's body. So we all know from Patry's perspective, Lich used a reincarnation magic so that the elves could survive, and all of the elves basically were dormant, I guess, in the human's body. So that's why a lot of the humans that we know in the show kind of turned, you know, into elves. So the elves, because of the magic stones, were, you know, revived, and that's why we see in this shot right there, Marks was also the Magic King's right-hand man, and then the Doctor. They all turned because the elves were dormant in the humans, and by using the magic stones, Patry was able to revive them. So that is out of the way right now. I think my question was answered in this week's episode. But there was a lot of people that turned into elves, man. That's crazy. There was obviously Marks, there was the Doctor, there was there was Lucky. There was a lot of guys that were turned into elves. There was also a real one of the Aquadeer captain, you know. There was a lot of people that turned into elves. Even the Blue Rose Captain Charlotte, one of my favorite characters, turned into an elf. So that's kind of crazy, man. But one of my question about that is, when did the humans quote unquote killed all of the elves? I think by, you know, the flashback, maybe it happened a long time ago. So how did their souls go into the humans that we see today? Because if it happened a long time ago, these humans like Gaucher, like Marx, how did they were able to possess them? Because the humans that they would have possessed in their time would have been dead by now. So that's one of my questions. I don't know what the hell is happening with that, but yeah, that's really interesting. That's my main question for now. If y'all didn't understand, what I'm saying is, when did the elves died and when did they possess the humans? Did they die not too long ago when Asta and were kids, or was it before they were born? So that's my question, because if they died long before and Asta were born, I'm wondering how the hell were they able to possess when he wasn't even born. So that's my main question. Anyhow, this episode was mostly from Yami's perspective. We saw him fight Marx and the doctor, and what was interesting about this fight is that Marx, his magic is memory magic, and if Yami is hit by Marx's magic, he's gonna lose his memory about everything that happened recently. So that's kind of crazy. And the doctor, usually his magic is not really an attacking magic, but because the elves are that strong, and because they're really in tune with mana, his magic is now as strong as attack magic. So that was also interesting. So we all know that the elves' affinity for mana is stronger than the humans, and that makes them stronger than humans. So that was really interesting to see. Obviously, the animation, the art for the fights weren't that amazing because of everything that happened in the last few episodes. Nothing can really best what we saw when the Magic King was fighting Patry, or the flashback, or anything like that. We can't top that in Black Clover right now, so I understand why, but it was a little bit underwhelming because this Saturday, if y'all watch Demon Slayer, that episode of Demon Slayer was amazing. All the episodes of Demon Slayer are well animated, so obviously this episode of Black Clover, animating wise, was underwhelming, but that's because of the hype of the latest episode of Demon Slayer, so that's my bad. But yeah, it wasn't that great, but what I liked about the fights that Yami had throughout the episode was how smart he is about how he fights. I really like this side of Yami. He's analyzing everything that is happening on the battlefield, what he can do, what he cannot do, what magic his opponent is using, and how good they are at using it. Everything about that was great for me. He defeated Marx and the Doctor pretty easily. Obviously, Yami is one of the Magic Knight's captain, so he's really strong. Maybe he's on a level of an elves, I don't know. But I guess Lich right now in his elf body is the strongest man in the world. So I don't know how strong Yami is compared to Lich, the real Lich. But he knocked them out pretty easily. And the hardest thing I think about this arc is that they can't really kill them, because one, they're not controlling their own body, they're not really awake in their body, so killing them would be wrong. So that's pretty hard to fight someone that you love, that you like, and trying not to hurt them. So that's one of the hardest part about fighting in this arc, I think. One other thing that I want to say before we continue and talk about the rest of the episode is that usually this kind of arc is what happens at the end of an anime, all-out war against another country or another race or something like that. That usually happens at the end of an anime, but this happens right in the middle, I guess. I don't know where Black Clover is in the manga right now, but this usually happens at the end of anime, so that's kind of crazy that this is happening right now. Anyway, right after Yami was able to defeat Marx and the Doctor, Charlotte arrived on the scene, and she was an elf. And that's kind of crazy that an elf can actually take over the body of a Magic Knight captain like Charlotte, like Real. We don't know about the other Magic Knight captains, I think, right now. So it's still crazy that an elf, they're already really strong, but now they're in the body of a Magic Knight captain, so they're even stronger than the, average population, so that's really crazy. But something that was pretty interesting, since the episode was mostly from Yami's perspective. First of all, I really like their kind of relationship between Yami and Charlotte, even though they don't really know that they have a relationship. I really like that. But something that was pretty interesting is that when we were really introduced to Charlotte, we were introduced in her backstory that she had a curse that happened to her, and the reason why her roses in her magic spells are blue is because of the curse. But if it wasn't for the curse, her magic, her roses on her magic would be red, and I guess because of that it would be stronger. I don't know, but that was pretty interesting. So since the elf took over Charlotte's body, the roses are red and not blue, so that's pretty interesting, man. But anyway, yeah, I like this part of the episode between Yami and Charlotte. Obviously they kind of have a relationship. We know that Charlotte loves Yami and Yami doesn't know anything about love, so that's an interesting relationship. And that they had to fight, was pretty cool. And there was a part with Charlotte's sister, quote unquote. She's not really her sister. I don't remember her name, but there was a part with her. I didn't really care about it, but yeah, man, I really like that part with Charlotte and Yami. So yeah, they had a fight. At the end of the episode, there was a clash. And what's interesting is that Yami was going up against an elf that is in Magic Knight Captain's body, and he was struggling. He had trouble fighting her. So I'm wondering what the fight will be between the real Lich and I don't know, Lady Leona, or maybe another Magic Knight captain, because Lich will be probably the strongest of all the elves. So that's I can't wait for that. But something that I forgot to talk about was Charlotte, quote unquote, sister. When she arrived at the scene and tried to fight Charlotte, because her magic was so dense, she wasn't able to use magic, so that's kind of crazy that Yami, because of how strong he is, was still able to use his magic, even though Charlotte's magic as an elf was really dense, so I really like that part. But yeah, I'm wondering how the Royal Knights and the Magic Knights are gonna get out of this mess, because there's a lot of characters that we know in the Magic Knights and the Royal Knights that became elves that were, overtaken by the elves. So that's gonna be interesting to see how they fight them, because they don't really want to hurt them. That's gonna be interesting. And then how they will be able to to reverse this, how they will be able to get the elves soul out of the human's body. I can't wait for all of that. But yeah, man, like I said, a lot of my questions were answered, but I still have a lot of questions, but yeah, Mimosa is in a lot of trouble, because Klaus, they're all in the same place as her, so she has to get the hell out of where she is right now. Even Lich is in this place right now, right in front of her, so she has to get the hell out of that place, because first of all, she's a royal, so the elves hate them, and second of all, she's with a even more powerful than he really is. Same thing for Klaus, and then Lich, so something that is interesting is what the noble families are gonna do about what's happening right now, because in principle they're the most powerful of all the Magic Knights. So Silver, Lady Leona, Mimosa is one of the nobles, same thing for Noel. They have the most magic power So that's going to be interesting to see, because we all know that the elves have more mana, because the infinity for mana is better and everything. So the royal, the nobles are going to have to step up to the plate. Same thing for Asta, because they're the most reliable, they're the most powerful to go up against the elves. So yeah, man. The question that I have right now is how they will be able to beat them. First of all, this is one of my questions. My other question is, who the hell did really kill the elves? Because they think that the humans did it, but I still think that somebody else, did it. I don't think that the humans, the Clover Kingdom, did it. It will probably be revealed by the end of the arc who really killed them, but I don't think it will be revealed anytime soon. This is just the beginning of this arc, man, and it's already fire, so I can't wait for what's coming next. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below, and let me know what you think is gonna happen next. I think it's gonna be amazing. This is just the start of a GOAT arc, and I can't wait to see what's coming next. I do Black Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that, but I also do other anime related things like Fire Force and Dr. Stone reviews on Fridays, and then Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer, and One Piece reviews on Saturdays. The latest episode of Demon Slayer was epic. It was amazing. It was a GOAT like, so go see the episode, go see the anime if you want to. It was amazing. Let me know if there are some things that I forgot to talk about this week's Black Clover episode in the comments down below. It would help me a lot. Like, comment, subscribe. It would help my channel a lot. We're at 57 subscribers right now, so we're going for 60. Thank y'all for subscribing to my channel, commenting on my videos, and talking anime with me. It means a lot. It's something that I wanted to start. Talking about anime with the anime community on my own channel, and I like it a lot, man. So thank y'all for 57 subscribers right now. It means a lot. But yeah, man, I've talked a lot. This video is about to be 18 minutes long, so my bad about all that. But yeah, man, thank you for watching. Follow me at Anime Specialist on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video, man. Anime Specialist out. Peace.